art is color. Art is inspiration. It's thoughts. It's enlightenment. Colors give us a fabulous experience, and human beings are emotionally attached to what the color vibrations are. At Valentina Design Universe, tonight we're talking about colors. Hello, I am Valentina Cirasola. I'm the host of this episode of Valentina Design Universe. And my guest will be an artist, a fabric designer, and a painter. Her name is Cicely Gilman, and we will welcome her, and let's see what she has to tell us about her art. Actually, I said before that this episode is all about colors, but no, it's about colors and art. Hello, Cicely. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for coming to the show. This is going to be fun. Hi. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So tell me, when did you thought you were going to be a painter or a fabric designer, fabric painter? When that started?
Well, I've been painting since I was a baby. You know, my mother was an artist, and so I was painting on the on the floor on a little tiny table when I was a little kid, and I saw my mother painting, and so I knew I wanted to do that. And so I just started right when I was little, and then my mother and my grandmother were really into fashion, and so I was really got into that too. I think by the age of maybe 9, and then I saw a lot of colorful, happy stuff in the 60s, and how beautiful it looked, and fun and fantastic and vibrant. And then I basically got kind of when I started as a child.
That's very good. And then you went on and studied, right? You studied in London and Paris. And so you turned...
I studied in London.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then you turned your passion, or let's say your hobby, your passion, into a profession, right?
Yeah.
So you've been...
I went to St. Martin's College of Art in London, England.
Right, and so you became a professional painter for fabrics, and you do other things as well?
Yes, I studied I studied fashion and textile design in London, and that was in the late 70s. Mm-hmm. And I continued that when I graduated. I went to New York for a while and worked for what they call colorists, which is where you design, put together commercial textile design. And nice. Then after that, I left New York, and I decided I really wanted to do hand painting on silk. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go somewhere where maybe there was more light. And so I moved to LA and I lived there for quite a long time. Mm-hmm. And I was inspired by the Mexican culture and all the colors and the flowers and everything there. And so I started silk painting, and I actually got some reps, and I was selling my silk art, my textiles, my scarves to the museums in around the country.
Very nice. Painting silk is very rewarding. you can turn a blank piece of soft fabric into a really fantastic something. Because I did painting on silk as well. I know what it feels like. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The effect afterwards is really nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So what motivates you to create? Is your environment? Is your fantasy? What is your motivation to create?
I think all the above. I look out where I live now. I live in Seaside, Oregon, and I lived only 1 block from the beach, and so we'd love to go for walks, and when the weather is good, and just the beautiful nature all around us.
I see your pictures often at the beach or around the beach are very nice. It's a very nice place. Is it cold over there?
Today it's probably the warmest day they've had this season. It's about 80 degrees, but it usually stays around maybe about 55 to 65.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice atmosphere, nice weather for painting.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, and so I get inspiration from that, but also just from art books, and I get inspiration from seeing work from other artists, and going to museums and.
Do you belong to artist circles as well, that where you can just share ideas with other people? Do you?
I was a member in LA of several art groups, like and then I came up here and I'm a member of the Astoria Visual Arts Association.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So with these people, you get to share ideas and projects and things that you have in the future, right?
Yeah, it's a gallery, and so we have exhibitions, and I also show in a small gallery here in Seaside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you create a fabric, a piece of fabric, do you have a concept in mind, or you just take your painting material and just throw it wherever they go?
I think most of the time I have a concept in mind, like the scarf I'm wearing here. This is made with hand-painted silk, but there's this really nice salt that goes on the dyes.
Yeah.
And it makes really interesting patterns. And the dress that I'm wearing and the fabric behind me is actually, like, the dress that I'm wearing is actually the original image was a cat painting. I loved kind of Persian, I would say folk art style, Middle Eastern patterns. And so I did this cat print that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And then behind me, I was taking photographs of plants, and I turned it into a like a photo drawing in camera, and then I manipulated it in one of them is through like making what do you call it, kaleidoscopes. That's what some of the patterns are. And then the other pattern is a picture of a cactus, which I put it into a repeated Photoshop and a pattern that way. So I just do different kinds of methods, different looks and things.
So does your art have a symbolism? Because I know I have one of your scarf, and it has moon ladies, and does your art has symbolism or hidden messages in it?
Some of it is inspired by mythology. You know, like goddesses and the divine feminine, female power,
right?
And then nature, and then some of it is just a little more inspired by what other art I see around me, or beautiful patterns from art history. And so sometimes there's symbols. Sometimes it's just Well, I've been recently just playing with a sketchbook and just making kind of inspirations by doing different kinds of techniques with colored pencils and
Right.
mixed media and seeing what kind of textures I get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can you, it seems to me you wear purple a lot and you paint with purple.
Yes.
Is there a meaning behind your purple? As I titled the show Enlightened in Purple.
Yeah.
Do you feel enlightened by purple? Because purple has a very, very special meaning, mostly
Right.
mystical. What do you feel?
Well, it's the royal color. It was when it was made a long time ago. It was very hard to make, and I like cool colors. How they look on me. I like purples and greens a lot, and some blues.
Right. But
Yeah.
you don't have a specific feeling when you paint with purple. Does it speak to you in a certain way?
It's soothing, and it's
Soothing.
royalty, and it's dignified.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess it goes well with your complexion as well.
Yeah.
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 So walk us through your process of paintings, because I see some of your images are doubled, like a mirror image. Am I
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
So how does that work? How do you do that?
Well, I mean, if I'm making a commercial print, like it's digitally printed, like the fabric behind me, that's actually part of a curtain. Um, I used, I had done repeat prints in commercial design where there was a half drop print. But I decided I found it more amusing to do what they call a basic print, which is it naturally mirrors itself. I do that in Photoshop and it makes a repeat pattern that way. And I like kind of the surprise imagery that I creates that way, you know.
Right. So then you decide how long the fabric must be, because if you have a repeat, you must
Yeah.
have a length of a fabric that you think that's going to go on, right? That
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's digitally printed, and so like the fabric behind me was for two huge curtains. But I have, that's just one process. When you have them digitally printed, you could order yards and yards, you know, if you were doing like furnishing fabrics or something like that. And then when I'm doing scarves, I use a basic blank, scarf blank. So when I hand paint it, I'm mostly, I would say I'm mostly comfortable with painting no longer than 72 inches long. That's just the nature of when you hand paint, you have a certain limit of size. At least right now I have that. And then, you know, people do paint longer pieces for like big hangings or something, and I would probably have to use a different kind of painting table, you know, some kind of setup.
right. And if you don't do it digitally, you do it with your hands. Basically, you
Yes.
need an
Yes.
enormous space, right?
Yeah.
Or
Well, not. I mean, I never seem to have enough space, but yeah, you at least you need to have some space that's long. So when I first started doing it, I rented a 2-car garage, and then later on, I had in the house I had 1 bedroom, and so that kind of limited my size. And now, right now, I have a porch on the side of my house with big windows, and it's kind of long and slightly narrow, but I have a painting table back there, and I can do like 72 inches long fabrics.
right. Because
Yeah.
it seems like the lack of space for most artists is also a deterrent from producing a lot more than they can, don't you think?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you need space for art and to keep all the materials
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
That's,
It
yeah,
takes a lot of planning.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there is one particular painting that you did that it's called, let me remind myself, it's called The Fantasy Lady of the
Yeah.
Canyon. Can you tell us what is that painting about? If the director wants to show that painting, what is that
Okay.
about?
Can you show that painting right
Yeah,
now?
let's see if the director is ready for doing that. We will show other things as well other than the Fantasy Lady of the Canyon.
Nope.
Oh, you
That's
paint shoes as well, right? You
that's
do.
it. That's there it is.
Okay.
That's actually that was actually I started that as a canvas painting
Yeah.
that I'm hanging in my bedroom.
Okay.
And I was with an artist group that wanted to do um, a themed project, and it
Mm-hmm.
was natural things or canyons in California.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to Ladies of the Canyon by Joni Mitchell. And
Okay.
so I kind of mixed the two. I put the goddess, of the land and of the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
and stars and the moon and the sun and waves and flowers and kitties and
And what are the eyes? I see a pair of eyes.
oh, eyes are always just cool, just kind of like all seeing, kind of eye of God
Yeah.
imagery. Yeah.
I
And
I have this scarf and I really enjoy it. It's very beautiful.
yes.
And I have my way of wearing scarves as well. Sometimes they look like shirts,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
it's because it's large. It's quite large, so it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see other creation that you did. If the director has the pictures, I think he can show it right now.
Maybe the one with the boots.
Let's see.
See how he,
Okay, the
yeah.
boots.
That it's also from a canvas painting.
Uh-huh.
And that was actually a painting my mother had started, and then she passed away. And
Mm-hmm.
she had just done basic background of Colorado Canyon in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on the canvas with Posca acrylic pens,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a very intricate design with. I don't think you see in that picture any pictures of cats, but there's little kitties in there. But it's
Right.
basically just a very decorative painting. My
Yeah.
passion is with decorative arts.
Right. They don't show, the cats don't show much, but it
Not
is a
that
very colorful pair of boots,
Yes.
definitely.
So that's a canvas painting I did, and then I digitally had that put on a pattern for boots that I have made for me.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
quite nice, quite intriguing and colorful. Most people probably won't wear it because of so much colors, but people like you and me, we'll probably can. We
I
will.
find I find that people like to wear colorful tennis shoes.
Uh-huh.
So they might buy
Yeah.
a pair of
Right,
funny
right.
tennis shoes. Now this one is another canvas painting I did,
Okay.
and that's of fairies and roses, and I got inspiration from like old fairy tales,
Right.
where they use these beautiful sort of soft
Mm-hmm.
art Nouveau colors, beautiful mauves and soft greens, and I just felt like doing a picture with fairies in it
Mm-hmm.
and flowers, and that I made into a dress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
So
but
this, go
that was
ahead.
started out with a canvas painting. This is also a canvas painting, and this actually the picture itself is put into repeat,
Right.
basic repeat. But if you sort of look at a quarter of the painting is the canvas it came from, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a painting originally did of very simple Celtic patterns, but then I left it for a long time, and then I decided I wanted to play with my Posca acrylic markers, and so I went back. I'm very inspired by Gustav Klimt and Hundertwasser, and I
Yes.
went
Uh-huh.
back and adding a lot of detail work.
Right, right. And this one?
This one was same thing. Was digital. Was originally a canvas painting, and I was looking around. I saw different art with kind of very interesting symbols. I think some of these are like from a tattoo parlor, or some
Uh-huh.
of it's like pagan patterns, and some of it's sort of from Mexican art, and
Yes.
maybe some of it's from voodoo. And I just thought I'd throw it in there. And when you can design your own fabrics, you might as well make them as far out as possible.
Absolutely. I mean, it's your art. You can do anything, but
Because
you have the good combination of colors and shapes, and also the imagery. If they are from one culture or another, feels like they're all united.
yes,
Yeah, they're
I,
united very well. Yeah.
right. Because you don't need to, if you want something really safe, you can just go to Joann's Fabrics.
Yeah. Exactly. True. And what else do we have? Do we have some more? I think we have some
That's
scarves.
that's a sample of my hand painted scarf.
Yeah.
This is a really cool technique. I saw online. I with my silk painter group. I saw this woman with these beautiful patterns on the fabric, and I said, "How do you do that?" And she says she adds sugar.
Oh.
Now she's from India.
Oh.
Now I was trying sugar that I just got at the grocery store, and it wasn't doing much.
Uh-huh.
And so I realized, oh, if she's from India, so I'll go to the Indian grocery store.
Right.
And their sugar has very large grains.
Ah.
When that is put on a wet dye and
Uh-huh.
you leave, it makes these amazing, like, kind of clouds and sort of fire patterns.
Uh-huh. Very
Yeah.
nice. I did not know that their sugar, the Indian sugar, is different than our sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
nice.
this is done with salt, and like the scarf I'm wearing right now, and this
Yeah.
one, um, the salt you use that's really nice is the salt that is made for textile painting.
Yes.
I mean, you can use Himalayan salt, that works quite nicely too.
Yeah.
But this is made when this is done with salt, it adds like a beautiful, kind of more like interesting lines.
It kind of draws the colors, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Absorbs
Yeah.
the colors. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it absorbs the color and repels the color.
Very
That's
nice.
but the sugar and salt behave very differently.
Very differently. Yeah. Well, next time I go to, I do go to Indian grocery shop to find certain produce that they're not sold in American market. So next time I look for that particular sugar
Yes.
in the Indian
If,
market. Yeah.
if you're going to paint on silk, you apply the sugar onto the silk when it's still wet.
Yeah. Yeah.
You leave it for a couple of hours until the fabric dries.
Right.
You can shake off the sugar and actually use it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The process is rather sticky. When
Yeah.
you heat set it, you have to wrap it in newsprint, and you have to use 2 layers, one
Right.
layer below and one layer on top,
Yeah.
because the ice and the stickiness will go all over the newsprint.
Yeah.
And then when you steam it, then afterwards, then you obviously take the paper away and then you wash it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So, what is your goal for your paintings? Where is it going, and what do you mean to say to your viewer or the buyer of your fabrics or your art? What do you say? What is your message to them?
I want people to dress colorfully again, the average person. And I kind of want people to dress up a little more than they have in the past. I think some people have kind of lost their respect by just walking around in sweats, you know.
I cannot agree more with you because it's a battle I've had for a long, long time to really lead people towards better dressing and better presentation of themselves.
Yes.
And also, I think it has to do with trusting ourselves and liking ourselves, our self-love. And it's the same thing that my message is the same thing. So I'm glad I'm not the only one in this in this battle. But what is your goal for the next coming future? I mean, the
Well, that's part of the goal, is to try to talk people into dressing up a little bit. And I always explain, at least with scarves, I say, you can always wear this with jeans. That kind of
exactly, yeah,
way to being casual.
yeah,
And you can still dress comfortably, but
yeah,
there's a way of looking nice. But I'm just in the search for looking for ways of uh, new techniques with my art, using new materials that I haven't used before, especially with acrylics and colored pencils and um, uh, water water-based pastels,
right, right, yes,
yeah, and colored pencils, and then just with the dyes, and maybe making some really simple tops.
yeah,
And I have a lot of online stores, and some of those stores, they make clothes for me.
yeah,
And so it's sort of I try to reach out different kinds of people with different kinds of tastes, you
right,
know.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's kind of I do get kind of into my own head, and I only make a little slight nod to what's in style.
right. And
Side
then
that
you
I have.
create your own. What's in
Yeah.
style, you go with the trend and then you create your own, which makes it yours, makes it
Yes.
with your signature design. It makes your own style. And coming back to fabric, I mean to scarves. Scarves are not just for cold weather. They
Yeah.
are also to decorate ourselves in the summer or to wear it with something casual and look more upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I think we have a very short time left. I just want to thank you for being here at this show. It's very informative. Thank you so much. And I want to thank the crews. They worked so hard to put all the shows together. Thank you, everyone. And until next time, for the next fun episode, I will say, as usual, peace, love.
Thank
Bye.
you.